Process. Here comes Rubalcaba. Rubalcaba dribbling to the center. Rubalcaba! Haley dribbles her way through the player. Now serves across towards the far post. Arriving Curran! Goal! Manoliliua at the edge of the 18. Touches it onto her right. Fires! What a save by Katie McLaughlin!
Hey, will anyone get there for DVC? It's Yasmin firing! Turns, Plancarte! What a save by Megan Elms!
Tied by the last defender. Valentine comes out. Noel drills the keeper. Lemus! Goal! And that is a DVC victory! Welcome, faithful followers of the Green and White. I'm Joe Hickey, the radio voice of DVC Athletics, and this is Vikings Soccer Rewind, a season-long trip in the Nostalgia Mobile to help us pass a long fall semester with no DVC sports. Today, we've got our last full regular season game for the 2016 edition of the Green and White. As we rejoin them, they're licking their wounds a little bit after suffering defeat for the first time in the opening match of the back nine of the conference schedule. Having opened the season 10-0-3, they've beaten Sierra and American River since you last saw them, but they capitulated to Santa Rosa Junior College in a game that actually mirrored last week's episode almost perfectly. Early Santa Rosa goal by the likeliest suspect. Receives the ball just behind the midfield stripe. Now goes on a diagonal to change the point of attack to the left, met with the head of Stavish, finding Galbraith trying to get off the shoulder of Raymer. Galbraith has reached it, and for the first time all season, DVC trail. Equalizer by DVC's eventual season-leading scorer. Penalty dot. Here comes the in-swinger from Malera going to the near post. Lemus knocks it right back towards Megan. She'll try another cross in. Here comes Chan trying to beat Miller to it. Ball still alive. Goal! Go, 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 go. And an immediate response from Santa Rosa as Galbraith gets her second moments after the Vikings tie it up. Left to play in a ball from the left side. Takes one big hop. Kaylee Alves trying to slide a ball in for Galbraith. And it's 2-1 Santa Rosa. In fact, the only piece missing, the late penalty kick to earn a draw, well, you be the judge. Ramos and Rubalcaba stuck in trying to win a ball. Taken away now by Ale Gonzalez, working against Lemus inside the 18. The clearance, it hit the hand of Janelle Schwartz, and there's no call! How do you not call that? Now that loss pushed DVC off the top of the Big Eight and off the top of the NorCal PowerPoints for the first time in 2016. And with a road date with third-place Folsom Lake looming, they had to navigate today's home match with Cosumnes River first. If there was a theme about today's match, it was discomfort. The Vikes had been on the road for 2 whole weeks and were excited to finally play at home, but heavy rains overnight moved the game from the waterlogged soccer field to the AstroTurf Stadium pitch on short notice. Adding to the discomfort, their adversary had a recent habit of holding teams down with 90 minutes of chippy defense-minded football, and then converting one mistake into an upset. They'd done it to Santa Rosa and to Folsom Lake, and they'd nearly gotten DVC's goat in Elk Grove a month prior, when they baited Ale Gonzalez into a proverbial rush of blood to the head that saw her sent off, and the Vikings forced to defend a narrow lead for 30 minutes, a woman down. All of this led to maybe my favorite statistic I've ever figured out mid-season. At this point, there had been 8 red cards given in matches inside the Big Eight. 3 had been shown to CRC, the most in the state. The other 5, all given to CRC opponents that had had their frustrations bubble over. So that's what we're up against today. A weird game against a weird team in a weird place. So let's embrace the weird. October 18th, 2016, live via tape delay, it's DVC CRC on Vikings Soccer Rewind. But we'll go ahead and fill it in as the game gets going. In goal, it'll be Elizabeth Kowalczyk, a four-woman defensive line, Katrina Vina, Talia Piombo, Taylor Gomez, and Taylor Thomas. In the midfield, look out for Lauren Azevedo, kind of their Andrea Pirlo type. Don't let her get her head up and find people to feed. Otherwise, Yvonne Taylor, Captain Anna Otley, and Amanda Lopez in that midfield. Ariel Klink returning. She played her first game in quite some time, about 3 weeks or so, on Friday against Folsom Lake. She is joined up top, I believe, by Andrea Story, but we're going to fill in all of that as we go along. As for DVC, they are adopting their red formation, a 3-4-3. Katie McLaughlin in goal. The one change in personnel is Ale Gonzalez into the lineup in place of Sabrina de Barteleven. However, There's quite a bit of tactical switching that happens as a result of that. So it is Katie Mack in goal as Mr. John Merrifield brings us into action with the opening whistle. We'll try and recap this very, very quickly. The defense consists of Dej Dargan, Zoe Raymer, and Jessica Jaime. The midfield, Cam Chan on the right, Karla Ramos on the left, Megan Malera and Chloe Lindemann in the center, Vanessa Ruvalcaba and Ale Gonzalez on the left and right flank. The center forward, up front and center, Noel Lemus. That is your lineup there. We mentioned that John Merrifield is our referee in the blue over black and black kit. Alex Delgado helping him out on the far sideline. Rafael Padilla here at our near sideline. For once, we are not behind the player benches. We are all the way across the field from them, so we'll have a little bit of difficulty perhaps identifying substitutes, particularly for CRC. They are a good ways away, but we're going to work it out. DVC in possession right now, about 40 seconds gone. Cam Chan trying to work a 1-2 with Chloe Lindemann in the center. Read nicely, though, by the combination of Yvonne Taylor and Taylor Thomas. Lots of Taylors out here. Two with that as their first name in the defense, and one of them over here at this sideline with it as her surname. Yvonne Taylor went about as close as anybody to scoring against DVC in the encounter up in Elk Grove, as Malera intercepts the ball from just in front of Story. So it is indeed Story and Klink up top. That much we definitely have correct. The Vikings trying to work a 1-2 here. Oh, great ball. Ramos fed by Ruvalcaba after she initially gave it to Vanessa. Ball in looking for Lemus. Can she beat the defender to it? Not quite. Piombo gets in there and pokes it away out the far sideline. First real opportunity, though, for the green and white coming in minute number 2. Also available to Mr. Plasencia will be their backup goalkeeper, Lupita Fierros, a couple of defenders, Brianna Heilman and Taylor Arlen, a few midfielders, Analisa Lopez, Isabella Robles, and Raquel Rizzo, as well as forwards Brianna Zamora, Patricia Gomez, and Maya Kitt. Of course, Averin Calvin unavailable, suspended due to the red card picked up in the 90th minute last Friday against Folsom Lake. Nice little spin cycle by Ruvalcaba to get around 2 defenders. Now dribbles through 3, top of the box, Vane! Just wide. Oh, Vikings going for that early strike yet again. They did not get it against Cosumnes River, one of the few teams in the Big 8 that has kept them from scoring inside the opening 10 minutes. Of course, the Vikings then did that in the 3rd minute of the second half. And in 2 of the games where DVC have been held scoreless for good chunks of time at the beginning of the match, they've managed to grab one right after the break. But Ruvalcaba putting our first shot in the direction of goal, not quite on frame, just barely wide of the left. Kowalczyk at full stretch in her neon yellow kit, not quite able to get it. Ball forward looking for Dre Story. That is going to be claimed instead by Dargan. Vikings field, when set up for soccer, is a good 5 yards wider on either side than the football field is, so that gives you about 65 yards from end to end, or from sideline to sideline. It's 110 yards top to bottom. The goals are put about halfway into each of the 2 DVC Vikings labeled end zones as the ball is out the far sideline for a Cosumnes River throw, it would appear. Otley does seem to be in the center of that midfield. The 18, Lopez over at the right, Taylor over here on the left. Ball forward looking for Noelle Lemus at full stretch with 2 defenders around her to try to feed someone. Ends up reflected back toward Lindemann, outside of the boot by Chan, trying to go over the first line of defense. Popping in the midfield, Vanessa Ruvalcaba is going to absorb the first foul of today's encounter as she tries to settle that ball right at about the 22-yard line. And so in minute number 4, DVC with their first free kick of the match. It is dead center, as we said, 22-yard line, therefore 27 yards from Elizabeth Kowalczyk's goal. Malera and Ruvalcaba over it. The wall in place has 3 in it. Malera is going to take this one, drives it into the wall, chasing to try to get there before the arrival of Vigna. Malera does beat her to that ball, now dribbling over to the left side, trying to keep it in play under pressure from Vigna, out for a throw-in. So getting our our stuff in shape over here. All the normal ways I handle things on the during the course of a game are a little different when you put me way up in the air. The ball way back over by the shed behind the track that encircles DVC Vikings Stadium, or the field at DVC Vikings Stadium. Throw-in is here to come for Cosumnes River in just a moment. Looks to be Vigna about to take this one, going up the sideline looking for Story, met instead by the boot of Megan Malera. She battles now with Story to try to hold the ball. Another defender crashing in. She dumps it back. Took a deflection off of Story. No, it just rolls out for another Cosumnes River throw-in. They earn about 20 yards in the process. Vikings, of course, in their all-green home kit. A little odd to see that on AstroTurf. We're used to seeing them in bright, shining white from positions like this. Katie McLaughlin in the red jersey over black shorts and socks. Here comes a long ball over the top by Zoe Raymer, trying to find someone down the right side. And, of course, one of the things you have to deal with on an AstroTurf surface is that you get much truer bounces and you get much faster bounces. And so that one a little miscalibrated by Zoe as she looks to find the range. First 5 minutes gone in today's encounter, 0-0. We've just seen a single shot and a single foul at this point. Ruvalcaba involved in both of them. And so, unfortunately, very similarly to what we dealt with against Santa Rosa, Elizabeth Kowalczyk is going to be potentially wearing out a long path back and forth to retrieve the ball from behind here, because we do have a full track and area for field events encircling the football field. So a good long rip, and it might bounce for a while. Kowalczyk in the track pants underneath her yellow and electric blue jersey punches a ball deep down the pitch. Chloe Lindemann trying to handle it after the ball forward by Taylor. Chasing after it now is Andrea Story, but Dej Dargan will get there first. DVC's back line having to do a little bit of a different job from what it's accustomed to. Dargan and Raymer certainly both given free license to roam back and forth. It's just the three of them. Center no longer really applies. Here's Karla Ramos trying to accelerate and work her way through a defender. Looks like she did not earn a deflection, just loses control of the ball over there at the sideline. And so a throw-in to come here in just a moment. So the absence of Averin Calvin, certainly a big story today. Ariel Klink as well. She and Andrea Story responsible for 12 of the 22 goals that Cosumnes River have scored. Calvin responsible for 8 of them. Only two other players have actually tallied for CRC so far this season. Maya Kitt back in non-conference play, and Lauren Azevedo last week. And so Klink, as we said, has been out for a while. Here's a ball over the top of the left side by Malera. Can Ramos get there before it goes out? No. Yet again, the quick turf and the crown on the field giving DVC a little bit of difficulty. So, but Klink has missed about 3 weeks of play following an injury, it would appear, against Sierra. That was a match that CRC lost 2-1. It was right after they had managed to upend Santa Rosa immediately following their loss to DVC. Since then, they've drawn ARC and did the job against Sacramento City 5-0. They beat Modesto 3-0. Fell to Delta 1-0, but then turned around and beat Folsom Lake on a Lauren Azevedo goal right before halftime on Friday. So for the distance between them in the standings, that between DVC and CRC, that distance has mostly been the result of the first couple weeks of the season. Since they saw one another, both of these teams here are 3-1-1 in their last 5 matches. As we mentioned, though, Cosumnes River with a rather different way of going about that. The Vikings would like to get one of those quick strike goals here as we are approaching minute number 10. For the simple fact that if you can get a little bit of a lead here against CRC, it's not the kind of game they like to play. It's Noel Lemus trying to heel flick a ball from the top of the box, looking for Ramos, cleared instead by Piombo. It's going to come all the way to Zoe Raymer, about 45 yards from goal, tries to slide it to the right side for Chan, and again struggling a bit with the calibration on the artificial surface. If you're wondering where the assists might come from, again, bad news for CRC. They're without their leading assist woman, Averin Calvin, with 3 of those. Story's also got 3, Otley and Azevedo with 2. We saw a lot of really great action sprung by Azevedo. Unfortunately, it's just seemed that CRC don't really have the horses to finish those attacks. Karla Ramos winning a ball away from Vina in the left side of the three-quarter zone, now trying to do a 1-2 with Ruvalcaba, gets stuck in her feet, comes right back to Vane, and she tries to get by the next defender. No dice that time. Vina spraying a ball up the right sideline, no one really there. And the Crown will carry that over the line back in the defensive... No, never mind. Has not gone over the line. That yellow line is basically invisible from where I am. Over at the far sideline. Should have mentioned, just to help you picture things, DVC attacking from left to right from our position here up in the press box. So working away from the soccer field at their backs and towards Viking Avenue. Ale Gonzalez, good ball over here to the left side for Ramos. One touch, tries to hoof it forward for Noel Lemus. Pops up with the head of a CRC player. Chan trying to defend it, drops it back for Ale. Ale dealing with it now about 30 yards from goal. Tries to slide a ball into the center, not to anyone in particular. Cleared by CRC. Dre Story does well to defend. Gets around Malera. Now puts a ball forward to the headbanded number 10, Anna Otley. She is unable to beat Lindemann, and Zoe Raymer ends up cleaning up the garbage here. Ball sprayed out to the right side again, a little bit too long for Chan. 10 minutes gone, 0-0 our scoreline. Elsewhere in the Big Eight, Folsom Lake and Santa Rosa are playing their leg of this round robin that we were talking about. Next week it'll be Santa Rosa, or excuse me, on Friday rather, it'll be Santa Rosa hosting these Cosumnes River Hawks, while DVC go up to Folsom to face the Falcons. But today it's Folsom Lake, Santa Rosa. That game's starting at the same time as ours. Since we are up in the press box, we've got the computer open, looking to see if any score updates come to us through cccaasports.org. Nothing as yet, but the day is young. Ball out at the team bench sideline, all the way across the field from us, right at midfield. Throw in for the Vikings, taken from way back by Jaime, settled by Malera. Elsewhere, getting started in about 20 minutes, will be San Joaquin Delta hosting Modesto up in Stockton. It's a nice ball by Raymer through the lines for Lemus, pushed forward towards the right corner. That's going to go out for a throw-in right at the right corner flag. We'll see if DVC try to hold Cosumnes River there. Thus far, the major issue just simply being the calibration of all that. Kowalczyk's going to go back behind her goal and grab one of the game balls so that Taylor doesn't have to chase that. Taylor Thomas doesn't have to chase that. Going for the throw-in, trying to find the 27 Taylor. Deflected away by Ale Gonzalez. Another throw-in to come. So Delta now in second place in the Big Eight, just ahead of DVC after their victory and DVC's concurrent loss. Vikings looking to, really hoping that Modesto can spring out of that funk they've been in. They lost 4 straight before beating Sacramento City 6-0 last Thursday. Nice spin move by Karla Ramos on the left side. Manages to get around Vina, cleaned up by the number 14. That's Taylor Gomez, crossing over from the right center back position. Throw in to come from about 10 yards from the byline. This one takes one big hop over defender, comes to the chest of Lemus, trying to get herself turned. 3 defenders bodying her up. She does get turned, shoots, and it's going to be blocked away by a CRC player. Cleared a bit more decisively by Taylor. Pops up on Story, and now she hoofs it long. No one there. But a handball as the ball pops up a little bit unluckily on Dej Dargan. It very nearly happened to Andrea Story right before she punted the ball deep, but very obvious handball by Dargan right at the 45-yard line. They take the free kick short. Azevedo on it, trying to thread a ball over to the right side for Klink. You can see that without Calvin, the formation even changes here for Cosumnes River. Ball forward, it was briefly intercepted by Lindemann. Otley claims it, though, from in front of her after Chloe showed too much of it to her. No problem, though, as Megan Malera takes the ball away. Lofted deep in the direction of Lemus. Her first touch settles it nicely with the head for Rubalcaba. She tries to push it deep and looks to run onto it. Taylor Thomas able to cross over and take it away. Out the sideline for another DVC throw-in, this time from the right. But up in Elk Grove, we saw a 4-3-3 from this team. They've definitely gone to a 4-4-2 here. Brief interplay between Gonzalez and Chan. The ball in is headed away by Talia Piombo and out for today's first corner kick. And the Vikings, of course, have been so very dangerous off of these all season long. It'll be Karla Ramos to put this ball in. She'll do that from the left side, as Piombo did put it out just to the left of Kowalczyk's goal. The Vikings doing their pack of 4 offensive players right to the left of the penalty dot. Here's the ball in, curling, and into the side netting. Ramos puts a hand up and says, "Excuse me for that." So thus far, a pair of Vikings set pieces have gone for naught. And we still are left with just the one shot taken about 2 minutes in by Vanessa Rubalcaba, which did not find the face of goal. Otherwise, we've not seen an effort directed toward either goal. A single foul committed by CRC and a handball by the Vikings, and that corner kick just there earned after Piombo got the ball away. There's a ball underneath the legs of Jessica Jaime trying to work a 1-2. Our Story and I think Vina, perhaps, or maybe that's Otley up there on the right sideline. Vikings able to handle it, though. Jaime helps to take it away. Lindemann under pressure from the 27 Taylor, able to get away. Cam Chan looking for a bit of space in front of Taylor Thomas. Ball forward in the direction of Chloe Lindemann, now trying to body off Otley and claim it. It is out, last touched by a Hawk. A little over a half hour to go here in half number 1. Raymer will take this throw in just a moment. A little bit of a different duty for her, normally as a center back. That is not her job. You got Dre Weinstein or Sabrina DeBartoleben over there for that, but today it's her job. Here's a giveaway around 35 yards from goal to Ale Gonzalez. Dribbles through two defenders. Now tries to slide a ball over to the left wing. Can Ramos get there before it's over the line? She does. Holds it in play. Now puts it on her right foot. Tries to put in a cross. Takes a couple of deflections, and it's cleared away by the 14 Gomez. Throw in to come here in just a moment for the Vikings as Karla Ramos goes over to chase that, and it looks like it's gotten over a fence and underneath the bleachers. Admittedly, a suboptimal place to play soccer. That's why we usually do it over on the fields, the grass field. Ruvalcaba claiming the throw-in. Drop back now to Jess Jaime. Jessica finds Zoe Raymer about 40 yards from goal. Off to the right side. Forward now for Ale. Gonzalez cuts her run into the center. Her ball in is going to take a deflection and spin kindly for Talia Piombo. One big hop on the AstroTurf, and Chloe Lindemann trying to shield off the arrival of another player. It's going to come to Ale Gonzalez, looking to dribble through two through two defenders, rather. Cleared away from in front of her. Zoe Raymer going back into battle again with the 16 Story. Looks like she and Klink have swapped sides. Klink now on the right, Story on the left. A little more in keeping with what I've seen Story do over these last couple of seasons. Karla Ramos cutting a diagonal run into the center. Can't get the first touch. Now slides one in for Ruvalcaba in the 18. Here's the cross. Kowalczyk gets it and snags it just before Noelle Lemus' arrival. And nothing doing on that, but another opportunity for DVC. So admittedly, the Vikings might be in a situation similar to the match against Cabrillo or the match against Aloni, where just their general energy has been frustrated a little bit by the change to this field. Jessica Jaime leaning on the back of a CRC player, fighting for the header off of Kowalczyk's drop kick. It's going to be a free kick for CRC from about 46 yards from goal. Pushed just out wide of the right hash marks, taken short by Azevedo. Left over here to the right side, Kadrina Vigna looking for service. That's going to find an offside player, Andrea Story, who, luckily for DVC, is seen as being offside by the far side match official Mr. Delgado, and did not manage to guide the volleyed shot on frame. Does not go down as a shot in the book, but it's certainly, try telling my heart that. Zoe Raymer, the ball here around the midfield stripe, finds Megan Malera right inside the V at midfield. Megan looking to take the 18 Lopez on the dribble. Leaves it now for Jess Jaime on the left side. Forward for Ramos. Dumps it back into the center for Malera. Now tries to find Ramos leaking out on the left side. Can she get there before it's out the back? Not quite in the final touch. Anyway, she may well have briefly touched it while it was still in play, but either way it goes over the end line. Last touched by Carlita. So your statistical count up right now, one shot for the Vikings, yet to see one for CRC, yet to see a shot on goal, 1-1 the foul count, and one corner kick to DVC. A fair bit less pyrotechnic than the early minutes were against Santa Rosa, although very much in keeping with the way DVC have generally played against Cosumnes River. If you look back at their last several matches, going all the way back to 2014, they lost 3-0 on a pretty brutal opening day of the Big 8 in Pleasant Hill in 2014, and then drew 1-1 with a pair of goals in the 79th and 82nd minutes. DVC getting the lead before conceding a penalty kick given by the linesman of all people. That ended up as a 1-1 draw. Last season in Elk Grove, the Vikings fell 2-1. Gave up a pair of goals around the half-hour mark and then got one back right before halftime. Couldn't do anything about it, though, in the second half. Ball claimed by Taylor Thomas just from in front of the opposing number 3, Ale Gonzalez, and now she works her way up the left. Cam Chan trying to track back. She puts a ball into the center. Really nobody moving into that space for CRC. Not a lot of options for the left back. Raymer able to block. Dargan now trying to get an outlet over to the left side for Karla Ramos. So the earliest goal we've seen in one of these encounters between DVC and Cosumnes River was the opener by Hannah Kidson in the 7th minute last year in Pleasant Hill. As Jess Jaime receives a ball from Ruvalcaba, put immediately in towards the center of the 18-yard box, headed away by a CRC player. Cam Chan now 35 yards from goal, puts a ball in for Ruvalcaba, tries to poke it through a defender. Nothing doing. Good work by Taylor Gomez to stand tall and keep Vane from getting by. Aimless ball, though, served into the center as Otley tried to spring a counterattack, claimed by the Vikings. Lindemann, Malera, now Cam Chan over on the right side. Finds Gonzalez, does well to use the run of the ball to beat a defender, but unfortunately for her, can't keep it in play after that run. Here comes the throw-in looking for Taylor, headed from in front of her by Cam Chan. Into the center where Otley's moving. She'll bring a ball forward for Klink, tries to knock that down, work her way forward with it. Now sprays a ball down the left side of On Taylor, moving into that space, but Zoe Raymer beats her to it. She'll drop it all the way back to Katie McLaughlin, and that might well be one of Katie Mac's first touches of today, besides taking the goal kick, or the free kick, rather, after the offside flag. 20.5 minutes gone here in Pleasant Hill, 0-0 your scoreline. The ball forward, looking for Rubalcaba. She tried to go for a glancing blow to feed an overlapping Karla Ramos. Nothing doing, though. Clearance, though, is only as far as Jess Jaime, a few yards shy of the midfield stripe. Work to Malera, now back to Zoe Raymer. Comes the ball forward, looking for Ale Gonzalez, stepping up as Talia Piombo to take it away. Ale working well to take that ball back. Drops it back to Zoe. Vikings look to reset, play to feet, find their dangerous people. Here's one of them, Karla Ramos, looking to spin her way around Vigna. Takes it over towards the left sideline, plays that off of Vigna. Throw in for the DVC Vikings, and looks like our first substitutions about to be authored. 2 for the Hawks, and looks like 1 for DVC. Appears to be Chloe Lindemann exiting for the Vikings, and entering for DVC will be the 15, Erica McDonald. And so that's actually going to put Ramos a little more into the center of the midfield, along with Malera. Here comes the ball worked over to Cam Chan, swing and a miss as she tried to play it into the center. Decent idea by Malera. Not such a bad idea by Chan. Execution just lacking in that particular case. As we mentioned in that game in Pleasant Hill last year, never mind. We're going to take a look at Vanessa Rubalcaba taking a shot for the far post. It very nearly sliced back on frame for her. She started it wide left. Didn't look like it was going to have much of a chance, but began tracking slightly back to the right. Second DVC shot, still yet to see one on frame. We have seen Kowalczyk come out and have to self-immolate in front of a cross by Ramos, looking to find the feet of Noelle Lemus. And actually, I seem to be mistaken about the way that DVC have worked that substitution. So McDonald is now on the left side of the midfield, but Ale Gonzalez has gone into the center in place of Lindemann. Rubalcaba's switched sides over to the right, and Ramos is now the left attacking wing instead of the left midfielder. So Rubalcaba, Lemus, and Ramos up top. Chan, Gonzalez, Malera, and McDonald across the midfield. Raymer, Dargan, and Jaime still your defense in front of Katie Mack. Did not see who the substitutes were. We'll find them in a moment here for CRC. Ball currently on the foot of, actually was being played up in the up towards the number 5. That is Brianna Heilman, one of the smaller players on the pitch. We saw some good action from her last match in Elk Grove. Cam Chan with the ball just kind of got it stuck in her feet. Heilman able to take it away, poked away by the CRC defense, but out for a throw-in. Zoe Raymer to chase that near the midfield stripe. It's interesting that the one time the Vikings did manage to find an early goal, they didn't score again until halftime, and then they hung 6 on CRC during the second half as Ale Gonzalez takes the ball away about 40 yards from goal, trying to spin her way through another defender. Nearly did get through. The ball popped away, however, and Gonzalez commits a foul against Yvonne Taylor, second whistled against DVC, and a free kick to come here for the Hawks. Earlier this season, of course, it was DVC getting their first win in Cosumnes River against CRC after having exercised things. Oh, look out. Here's a ball forward looking for Klink. She's gotten behind the defense. Fires wide of Katie Mack's goal. That ball played into space for, looks like the number... She's got a big ponytail in front of her number. It's the number 16, Story. Received a ball from the left side of the defensive midfield, and with one touch... managed to split Jaime and Dargan and found Klink leaking out on the right side. As we mentioned, Klink, the leading scorer along with Story among the players actually on the field. They each have 6 apiece. Kit and Acevedo with 1 apiece, although we haven't seen Maya Kit yet in any of the matches against DVC. Noelle Lemus receiving a ball from Zoe Raymer. Over here to the right side for Cam Chan. Hoofing a ball now deep down the right side. She actually finds Karla Ramos over there. Looks like she's decided to switch sides and let Rubalcaba roam. or perhaps was just tracking back. The ball cleared. Zoe Raymer underneath the feet of Andrea Story, finds Ale Gonzalez, manages to work her way through the 18 Lopez, puts it out to the left side looking for McDonald, but wrong-footed her. Emack wanted to run down the left wing, and Gonzalez forced her to track back a little bit. Couldn't quite keep it. 20 minutes to go here in half number 1. So with the exception of Folsom Lake, Cosumnes River with a benchmark of having held the Vikings scoreless longer than any team that hasn't actually shut them out. Long ball forward, just gets over the foot of Zoe Raymer. It's now Andrea Story working in on she and Dargan. Raymer gets back. Dargan now has some good cover. Andrea Story, a few yards outside the 18-yard box, is going to drop it back for Heilman. Trips over the ball for a moment, and as she tries to feed her teammate, it pops over to Zoe Raymer. Megan Malera able to clear it a little more authoritatively. Ruvalcaba trying to float it towards the left wing. Briefly touched by Amanda Lopez. She manages to beat Lemus to the opportunity to feed Emack flying down the left wing. And so it's out for a Viking throw after that touch. Here comes the throw by Jaime. Finds Ale Gonzalez. Ale working through the left side and is now going to feed a ball down the wing looking for McDonald. It's going to be carried out, though, by the Crown and out for another throw-in. Unfortunately, the defining characteristics so far, not a particularly pyrotechnic game. Haven't seen nearly as much of the chippiness that we discussed, though, in the pregame show regarding Cosumnes River's propensity for both inducing red cards and earning them themselves. Did one of each in the game against Folsom Lake. One of the crazier ones against Modesto, Taylor Gomez. It had to have been a brawl. I don't know for certain, but there were 3 red cards given all at the same time. 1 to her and then 2 to a pair of Modesto players in the matchup between the Hawks and the Pirates. Drea Story looking to feed Brianna Heilman coming up the gut. That ball's way too long, though, claimed just outside the 18-yard box by Katie Mack. Out wide to the right side looking for Cam Chan. Chan looking for Ruvalcaba to get onto a run. She decides to work her run towards the corner flag. Is fed, and she looked to heel flick to return it to Chan. Nothing doing out the back for another goal kick. We've mentioned the CRC result against Folsom Lake. We've talked about Modesto over Sac City. The other result from the weekend, and it was alluded to briefly, on Saturday, San Joaquin Delta finished off match day 9 here in the Big 8, and they did so by defeating Sierra 2-0, a pair of goals, 1 in each half. Jessica Hufford, her first of the season, in the 16th, and then Leah Manaleleua, which I believe is her 16th of the season, in minute number 59. Here's Cam Chan putting a ball in, looking for Lemus, trying to defend it against 2 CRC Guardians. Cleared away. Zoe Raymer now on it at midfield. So that win by Delta arrests Sierra's 2-win streak that they had built up since facing the green and white. It also leapt Delta over the Mustangs over our Vikings into second place in the Big 8. So at the moment it is Santa Rosa on 21, Delta on 19, and DVC on 18. Their next opponent, Folsom Lake, is next at 16. CRC currently sitting on 13 points. And a giveaway here in the back. Noelle Lemus bundled to ground. Here comes a shot from distance by Ale Gonzalez. And it looks like after that, perhaps giving the free kick? No, not going to be given. No foul, just shot number 3 and still yet to see one guided on frame. Ruvalcaba, a pair of shots wide left. Ale Gonzalez, one wide right. Ariel Klink at the other end. Not testing Katie Mack when she was found by a delightful Andrea Story ball. Delightful if you're a Hawks fan. If you're a Vikings fan, it was terrifying. Ruvalcaba receives the ball over here at the sideline. Back to Raymer. Vane giving a signal to try and punch it down the right wing for Cam. Nothing doing, though. Drop back to Dargan. Now Megan Malera out wide to the right side for Vane, who's playing a little bit more of a midfield role. Chan in the right wing. Here comes a ball by Vane. Drifting off the crossbar by Karla Ramos as she meets it on the volley. It would have been one of the goals of the season if she just kept it a foot further down. 29th minute, DVC, oh so close by a coat of paint. They are denied the lead. That ball was just drifting barely over the head of Piombo and Taylor Gomez in the center of the CRC defense. The goal kick met with the head of Erica McDonald trying to feed Ramos down the right side, met first by Gomez and out. Takes a big hop off of the fence in the back, and so McDonald doesn't have to run quite so far to grab it. Here comes the toss into the feet of Ale Gonzalez, looking to turn around a defender. She does, puts in a cross, took a deflection, had a lot of English on it, and Kowalczyk is attentive and secure. Noelle Lemus was lurking right there at the edge of the 6-yard box had Kowalczyk made any sort of mistake on that ball. She punts one deep just over the head of Andrea Story. Handled by Jaime, now over here to the right side for Chan. The Vikings perhaps looking to just mix things up and see if they can find a mismatch at some point. Chan trying to slide a ball in for Lemus, met instead by Yvonne Taylor and Azevedo. Ale Gonzalez not able to take it away from Taylor. The long ball up the gut, though, is claimed by Dej Dargan. We will claim that as the first shot on goal because it quite literally was on the goal as Dargan lofts the ball over towards the left side near the midfield stripe, but just miscalibrated it trying to put Jaime into some space. Throw in to come here for Cosumnes River. That immediately trying to give it back to the number 4, that's Michelle Aleman. Klink with her feet trying to immediately refeed Aleman, but it's way too hard and goes straight back out. Vikings throw. Noelle Lemus able to flick a ball over her own head, trying to find Ale Gonzalez. Too much English on it, though. Carries it to Azevedo, but on the ball by Azevedo, Gonzalez gets back onto it. 25 yards from goal, working her way now into the center, trying to slide a ball towards Karla Ramos at the half moon. Nothing doing, poked away by CRC. Up comes Jaime. She claims the ball. Here comes a cross, maybe a shot. Either way, it's going to go out the back, just wide left of Kowalczyk's goal, and it's going to be a goal kick. Certainly seemed direct enough, so we'll claim that as DVC's 5th shot. 5-1 that count. DVC with the only shot on goal, ringing off the crossbar. Yet to see a save yet today as the Vikings author a substitution. Gonzalez out, Stridiron in. 2-1 the foul count, 1-0 the corner kick count. DVC with more of everything, but yet to see a goal on the board. Long ball by Kowalczyk, claimed by Stridiron on the left side of the midfield. Here's a nice little ball by McDonald to find Ramos working down the flank. Ramos, little shifty running, trying to find some space. Aleman manages to get to her and prevent her continued ascent up the left wing. Ramos gets back on it, puts in a cross to this 18! Rubalcaba can't make good contact. Popped up just a little bit on her as she tried to take it off the short hop, and it goes over the top of Kowalczyk's goal. Goal kick to come with 13 minutes to go here in half number 1. Substitution time here for CRC. Looks like they will remove the 18 Amanda Lopez and the 5 Brianna Heilman. And entering for them appears to be the 23, that would be Raquel Rizzo, and the number 7, Patricia Gomez. Long ball claimed for a moment by Rubalcaba. Now it is the newly inserted player who wins it and then gives it right back to Karla Ramos. Can't quite dribble around a defender. Cleared away. Claimed by Ariel Klink. Working forward now for Andrea Story. Story working on it on the far sideline. Jess Jaime comes up and challenges. The ball pops loose. Erica McDonald trying to reverse direction a little bit too fast on the artificial surface. Falls to the ground. Claimed by CRC. Played into the center of the three-quarter zone. No problem for Zoe Raymer. Stridiron on it now. Slides it to the right side for Cam Chan. Rizzo looks to body her up. Now forward for Rubalcaba. Vane seeing a little bit of pressure come from Taylor Thomas. Now finds Cam Chan between 2 defenders. Here comes Cam, dribbling on a diagonal. Forward looking for Karla Ramos. Has tried that 2 or 3 times so far, and each time Lauren Azevedo or Yvonne Taylor has seemed wise to it. Maybe a new tactic. Throw in by Ramers to the chest of Rubalcaba, right back to Cam Chan. Now puts a ball into the center from Malera. This time she's able to beat Anna Otley to it. Tries to slide a ball through, looking for Rubalcaba and Lemus, leaking out the back. Cleared authoritatively by CRC. Dej Dargan meets it with the head. Ariel Klink running up her back, and Dej is going to try to use a little bit of space and body size to keep the 24 from getting to it. Right back to Katie Mack. Over to Jess Jaime at the left side of the defense, rather. Forward into the feet of Erica McDonald. She's just across midfield. Now tries to spray a ball forward for Karla Ramos, looking to split the right back and the right center back. Patricia Gomez gets to it after an initial clearance. Hoofed deep by Aleman. And now claimed by Dej Dargan. For the most part, CRC bottled up. They've had 1 or 2 promising counterattacks, but the Vikings have allowed very, very little. Just that one Klink shot wide of Katie Mack's goal in the first 34 minutes. DVC a little bit more dangerous on their side, but have only put 1 shot on frame. Erica McDonald trying to work her way through a few defenders. Got through the first one. Walled off, though, by, I believe, Aleman again. No, the 14, rather. Taylor Gomez. Played out the right sideline. Looks like it took a deflection off of a DVC player, so it'll be a throw-in for CRC. Throw-in reflected immediately and off of a Cosumnes River player, and so now the Vikings with the throw-in from their own defensive zone, trying to go over the top to feed McDonald. Nothing doing, but Malera gets to the ball, now lofts the ball to the left side, and McDonald will be able to hold this one in play. 2 defenders crashing in on her. Taylor Gomez will play that out for a Viking throw about 25, maybe 30 yards from goal. 10 minutes to go. McDonald running up, and she'll take the throw in, looking to put it into the left corner of the box for Noelle Lemus. Bodied up by a couple of defenders, drops it back from Malera, crossing far post. And that looked for a moment like it might well sneak its way in at the top right, upper 90. Out, though, for another goal kick. So looking at the rest of the Big 8 table, we mentioned Santa Rosa, Delta, and DVC all within 3 points of each other. Folsom Lake back by 2, and then Cosumnes River on 13 as the Vikings author a pair of substitutions. You got Sierra at 12, just behind them. Modesto at 10. ARC Idle last week have fallen into the second to last place on 7 points, and then Sac City on 0. Your substitutions for the Vikings: Maya Himmel and Lizzie Chavez in for Vanessa Rubalcaba and Cam Chan. So a retread of the right side. Looks like Lizzie is going to take the forward line position and Himmel the midfield one, and it's right to the foot of Lizzie Chavez after a touch from Stridiron. Lizzie, too many cooks in the kitchen as she and Stridiron work on the ball. Tasha comes away with it, though. Didn't give it away. Drops it into the center now for Chloe Lindemann, trying to dribble through a pair of defenders. Got through them. Hits the deck. Free kick DVC on the second Cosumnes River foul. And this one from just outside the Half Moon. We'll see who Coach Mullins likes for it. Karla Ramos is the one putting it in place. Megan Malera could be an option. The ball just to the right side of the Half Moon. Karla would hit it with the left. 3 in the wall for CRC. Megan would hit it with her right. 8 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Referee content with the positioning of the wall. It's nice when you have yard lines. Works his way out. Here's Mr. Merrifield's whistle. Karla coming up. Ramos can't quite get it down. Hits the goalpost that is of less interest to us, the football goalpost just behind there. DVC thus far 1 for 7 in getting their shots on frame, and even that one denied by the woodwork. A solid defensive performance, but we knew that CRC weren't going to be as dangerous as usual without somebody like Calvin to run up and down that left wing. Right wing, excuse me. Left if you're a Vikings fan again. Ball in possession right now of DVC after Kowalczyk's goal kick. Malera. And then McDonald and now Dargan, now Jaime in possession at the midfield stripe on the far sideline. Forward looking for McDonald. At the outside of her boot, tries to put it into the center. Cleared away by CRC. Knocked down with the chest of Ariel Klink. Trying to work her way through Jaime, and does. Megan Malera tracking back to try to hassle her. Jaime gets a brief touch to it, but now Klink is through both of them. And her ball is going to bang off of Zoe Raymer and drift out to the right side for Patricia Gomez. Gomez now locked in a battle with Dej Dargan. That doesn't tend to end well, and doesn't for her this time either. Dej able to come away with the ball. Works it forward now for Ramos. Ramos, good first touch to try to blow by Aleman. Working her way now down the left side. Now 45 yards from goal, now 35. Running in on a diagonal, trying to feed Noelle Lemus at the left side. A little bit too heavy, and out comes Kowalczyk. Good counterattack from the Vikings, but yet another misweighted ball on the AstroTurf. Your current formation for DVC: Ramos, Lemus, and Chavez. The attacking line: Himmel and McDonald, bracketing Malera and Stridiron in the midfield. Still Raymer, Dargan, and Jaime in the back. And it's the ball is again on the foot of Erica McDonald, looking to hoof a ball into the left wing for Ramos to run onto. Met instead with the head of a CRC player. Cleared deep and all the way down to Katie Mack. Right at the edge of her 18-yard box. No problems there. Dargan on it. Over here to the right side for Zoe Raymer. For CRC, Raquel Rizzo actually pretty close to behaving like a right wing forward, or left wing forward at the moment. She and Gomez more or less bracketing Klink on either side, so maybe trying to go to their 4-3-3 that they've been more comfortable with this season. Taylor and Story currently in the midfield, along with the seem to be missing a player right now. I'll have to figure that out in just a second. At any rate, Maya Himmel taking a ball away here at the near sideline from the 23. Tries to slide a ball into the center and can't. Manages to get the ball right back, though, after a touch from Andrea Story. That's who it was. Story's still in the match. So Story and Taylor, as well as Lauren Azevedo, who's just playing a very, very deep lying position right now. Almost a center back. Between the left and right center backs. Karla Ramos taking the ball away. Finds Stridiron, top of the 18. Stridiron has to get it out of her feet. Drops it back for Maya Himmel. She puts a ball into the left side of the box. Popped up with the thigh of a CRC player. And a foul called against a DVC player in the process of trying to settle that. 5 minutes to go. Third Viking foul. Or perhaps an offside flag. I think more likely that. At any rate, 5 minutes left to go. Kowalczyk to take the free kick from the very edge of her 18-yard box. Now, there were way too many players in there. That must have been a foul. Far too many CRC players inside the 18-yard box for somebody to have been offside that far up. Long ball is settled by CRC. Yvonne Taylor trying to work a 1-2 with Klink. Stridiron makes that a little bit more challenging. Ball drifting out to the right side for Andrea Story, who manages to keep it in play. Rolling, and now out in front of Jess Jaime. Throw-in is taken up the left sideline looking for McDonald. One big touch for a long ball to try to find Lemus, and again the AstroTurf is going to betray us as she tries to work against the... Is that the 17 that was tracking back with her? Acevedo? Indeed it is. She's playing one of the weirdest sweeper-looking positions I've ever seen. Defensive mid, but also the very back line of the defense. Yeah, she is all the way back there between Gomez and Piombo. CRC in control right now, 40 yards from goal, working in from the right side. Finds Klink out to the right now through a couple DVC defenders for Gomez. She bangs a shot or a cross, whatever it was, off of Jaime. Stays right there, cleared a little bit by a younger one. And now it's Dej Dargan. Forward for Malera. 3 minutes, 30 seconds left. Malera whipped to ground by the Patricia Gomez foul. Evens that count up at 3s. And we appear right now to be about 3 minutes and 15 seconds away from going to the break scoreless for only the second time this season. Only other time that happened, the Vikings wound up finishing that match scoreless. It was here at home against Folsom Lake. Jaime, drive of a free kick from about the 40-yard line of the football field. Deflected and reflected away by CRC. Popped up by Jaime. Now Stridiron trying to feed a ball forward from Malera. Knocked away by Cosumnes River. Riso on it. It's going to show way too much of that to Lizzie Chavez. Drops the ball back for Himmel. Maya into the center circle for Megan Malera. And now drifting a ball over the right side to find Lizzie Chavez. Can she beat Taylor Thomas to it? She does. Plays it off of Thomas. Corner kick DVC and a chance to avoid a scoreless halftime. Second of those for the Vikings. First opportunity was taken by Karla Ramos, who put it into the side netting, a bit too much curl on it. Erica McDonald already this season with 3 assists from corner kicks. They are all 3 of her assists. A 4th would be lovely. Here comes the ball in from Emack, curling into the 18-yard box, gets through a couple lines of defense. It's going to find Stridiron at the far post. Her cross inside is snagged from just in front of Noelle Lemus by Elizabeth Kowalczyk, and the clock stops on 2 minutes inside the final few moments of today's first half. We remain scoreless in Pleasant Hill. Ball chested down. Erica McDonald takes it, tries to put a ball through for Karla Ramos, rather. Met by Kowalczyk right at the edge of her 18 and cleared. Dej Dargan chases that down. Popped up by Jaime, settled nicely by Zoe Raymer. Elegant little motion there. Ball forward for Maya Himmel, who, a bit of an unforced error, tried to accelerate by Raquel Riso and dribbles it out of play. So the crown and the fast turf giving us all manner of headaches. A lot of balls that on Vikings field probably would have stayed in play, would have stayed a little bit further away from Kowalczyk, are running straight to the goalkeeper or straight over the line. Lizzie Chavez doing battle with Taylor Thomas, not quite able to take the ball away, but forces an errant pass. Intercepted by Dargan, forward looking for Ramos, can't quite make the settle. Comes to Drea Story. Working to the right side. 65 yards from goal. Now punches the ball down the right wing. Intercepted by Jess Jaime. Forward from Malera. Malera gets her head up, looking to calibrate a long ball into the left flank. This one's over the head of a defender. Can McDonald beat it to the byline? She does, but her cross is not going to bend back into play. May well be a frustrated team talk in the locker rooms in just a few moments. Kowalczyk Kowalczyk about to belt the goal kick here, and we may well be in the final seconds of half number one. Mr. Merrifield checking his watch. Here's the ball headed by Megan Malera right into the back of Andrea Story. Comes right back to Megan. Over to the left side for McDonald. Tries to hoof a ball in for Lemus, but it's, again, too direct. Kowalczyk's going to dribble with that at her feet for a moment. Try to pass a little bit more time and get to the locker room unblemished. So this has generally been the MO for CRC, at least in Big 8 play. They don't concede a ton. They fell to Delta 1-0. They fell 2-1 to Sierra. They fell 2-0 to Folsom Lake. They haven't really been a team that's gotten blasted at any point here. They haven't scored a ton except against Sacramento City. And as we said, they have battled very, very hard. The ball controlled for a moment by Lizzie Chavez in the midfield, and that is going to do it. Mr. Merrifield brings our first half to an end. So just a single shot on goal that registered by Karla Ramos around the half-hour mark, banked off of the crossbar, and that is where we land, 0-0 at the break. Welcome back to the year 2020. A few close shaves there, but the game has yet to quite break DVC's way, and we hit the break scoreless. We should be flying, though, for today's halftime show, as we're joined by a pair of wings. Forwards for most of the season, but midfielders and almost occasionally outside backs in this red formation. We welcome Karla Ramos and Cameron Chan to Viking Soccer Rewind. Thanks for joining us, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Now, it's been 4 years since the two of you suited up in green and white. What has life held for each of you in your time since DVC, and how are you staying sane with everything that's going on these days?
So since I left DVC, I transferred to UC Santa Barbara. I recently graduated last winter with a degree in economics and accounting. And then after that, I came home, just been hanging out, and I'm actually starting full-time at Deloitte. It's an accounting firm in San Francisco this upcoming September. But yeah, it's pretty much what I've been doing, just trying to stay sane during this craziness.
Anything particularly helping you stay centered?
I'm watching a lot of Netflix. Literally have watched, I feel like, every single show on Netflix, but, just hanging out with family, friends. Just trying to stay grateful for, what we do have and positive throughout this time.
So I transferred to SF State, and I still I continue to play soccer. So I played my last 2 years there. I graduated this past May in 2020, so a couple months ago. I majored in liberal studies with a minor in counseling, and I'm just right now just searching for a job and all this craziness. Just trying to stay sane and going on hikes. Recently, I've been trying to run a little bit because I stopped doing exercise right when the last day I needed to. Just kind of enjoying gaining a couple pounds because it's been hard. I could never gain any pounds, so it's been fun. I've been enjoying my little chubbiness, so that's cool for me. But other than that, just trying to stay positive and grateful for what I do have and for being healthy.
What, if anything, do either of you remember about the experience of this game? I imagine you probably went in a little bit on guard with just the way they had kind of beaten you up the prior game and the little incident with Ale throwing an elbow. I imagine you might have been a little bit on guard about this team.
Yeah, so that was just one of the teams that when you play them, you're just trying to win. Ale, the first time we went over to their home, and Ale, one of my teammates, Ale, did get a red card, and I remember that whole game. It was the refs, everything was just not in DVC's favor. So coming to play against them at our home, there was definitely some tension there. I remember they parked the bus on us, so I remember that game just being a little bit more frustrating.
That is not one of the games that I remember super well, but I do remember about that team, Cosumnes River. They're just one of those teams where I feel like, no offense to them, I feel like we definitely like knew we were better than them, like just as a team as a whole. But like it's almost like the score wasn't reflecting that, and they were just one of those teams where it's just like you're better than them, but it's just like there's just so much like tension and stress and just pressure on ourselves, and it's almost like you just got to wait till the end of the game for things to just kind of get rolling. Yeah, I don't remember too much. I just do remember being really tired because, yeah, we were doing that red formation, and me and Karla were just up and down and up and down. And I remember, like, when we would finally get the ball back on defense, and then they'd be like, all right, sprint, like, sprint. And me and Karla are just, like, literally dying.
Yeah, Cosumnes River, it's a talent. It's a different kind of talent, right? That ability to build your game plan around making the other team not do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, DVC started that one in that red formation, a really hyper offensive setup, I think, kind of to try to make sure they did do what they wanted to do. But, irresistible force, unmovable object in that situation. I used to ask this question in the sophomore interviews, something to the effect of, what do you think you will most remember 5 years from now about your time playing for DVC? Maybe today's game, some of the memories are a little bit hazy, but if somebody does mention to you, Vikings soccer, nowadays, 4 years later on, what is the first thing that pops to mind for you?
What pops up into my head is that it was so fun. Oh, it was so fun. The bus rides, the van rides, just being in the locker room. It was just one of those teams where it's like you'll never forget. Everybody was just so fun. Everybody got along. It was so fun.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what Karla said. I just remember, like, when people ask me about DVC and my time there, I just tell them I had so much fun, honestly. Like, it is tough going to community college when, all your friends are off at 4 years. But I had, honestly, like, the best time ever. Like, we would sing in the bus, sing in the locker room, we'd hang out. And I think what makes it even more fun is that we all, like, honestly, like, as a team, we played so well together. And we were one of DVC's best soccer teams to, ever play. And so I just think when the team chemistry is there and the talent's there, like, it makes a whole difference. But honestly, it was, like, probably some of the best times in my life because we were killing it.
Well, I've taken this opportunity to, if you're talking about what you loved about being at DVC, I've told each of the players what pops to mind first for me when I think about each of you. Because, you've all carved out a little place in my heart. That's why I thought of you to call you up for this in the first place. And so for Cam, it is without doubt the just crazy extent to which you just balled out in the state semifinal. That game was just astonishing. You scored the one goal. You nearly created another one, basically throwing yourself in front of the goalkeeper to prolong an action. I remember feeling like you were a little underplayed a lot of this season. Like, Noel got a lot of attention, the midfield got a lot of attention. It was really cool to see you come out like that. And then for Karla, it's two major things. First off, it's the B button, those little spins that you would do in the middle of the or not in the middle of the field, usually by the sideline. It's one of my favorite things to call, because that was what I would call it. You would do one of those things, and I would just go, "Oh, Karla Ramos, B button, goodbye," and off you'd go. And then, of course, you are responsible both in the game we're watching right now, spoiler alert, and in that state semifinal for the two goals that probably did the most damage to my voice ever. And so those of you that are watching the game right now, you can look forward to that. Well, before we head out, is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to, any coaches or former teammates that might be watching right now?
Yeah, I mean, I want to give a shout out to the whole team, the squad, the coaches. I miss you guys all so much. I hope everyone's doing great. And hopefully we can reunite soon, post-corona. But yeah, I love you all, and I miss you guys.
Yeah, I just want to say shout out to the team. Same, I hope you guys are all doing well, staying positive and staying fit. No, I'm just kidding. Play some soccer, maybe here and there. Hopefully the cleats aren't still all rusty. Maybe we could have a little alumni game.
Yes.
When this is over. That'll be fun. Shout out to the coaches. Shout out to Coach Alex, of course, Coach Mullins. I love you. I hope you guys are doing all good.
Don't forget Jorge.
And
Julio.
Julio. Just kidding. Shout out to Coach Julio, wherever you are in the world.
Because I think you mentioned the squad and the team right there, and also like, what about the gang? Gang on 3.
Right.
That's the addition to Vikings on 3 is gang on 3, 1, 2, 3, gang!
Gang.
Love that. And I can't remember what game it was at some point where it was a 3-part thing, right? It was gang on 3, 1, 2, 3, gang! Coach Dab on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We started doing that after we were winning. We were like, Coach, it's a dab, it's a dab. Another motivation to win. They should told us like,
so much.
I think she told us like, if you guys win, like I'll dab, and we were okay, Coach.
He did it.
Yes.
Turned around and did it 18 times. All right. Well, thank you, Karla and Cam, for coming on the show. It was really great to see you again. We're headed back to the stadium for the second 45 minutes as DVC search for the breakthrough against a determined Hawks defense. 0-0 at the restart on Vikings Soccer Rewind. Up in Elk Grove a month ago, so Vikings looking to avoid provocation, try to get that quick strike goal that they have done in most of the games where they haven't gotten one right at the start of the first half. They've been very good at getting one at the start of the second half. They went closer than anybody else to a goal during half number 1 as we are brought back into motion by Mr. Merrifield. Ariel Klink immediately trying to spray a ball down the left sideline, looking for a teammate. She's able to get to the clearance from Cam Chan, but not able to settle it down there. The Vikings starting this half, we're going to try and get a sense of who exactly is out there. A lot of the same folks we saw at the very closing of the first half. In fact, it looks like Ruvalcaba and Ramos, more or less the left and right forward players. Lizzie Chavez out there as well on the right wing. Chan and McDonald seem to be bracketing the midfield. Malera and Stridiron in the center, and it is your standard defense. Dargan and Jaime over here toward the left, Raymer over on the right. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is exactly how we finished the first half. Saw a few bright moments in there as Jess Jaime's ball forward for Stridiron's reflected by the 16-story. Jess, though, able to get back onto it in front of Patricia Gomez, and now works it forward for Ruvalcaba. Now to Ramos trying to flick a ball into the left wing for someone to run onto. Cleared directly at us, although not nearly as scary as when I'm on the sideline when you're up here. Throw in to come here for the Vikings in the attacking third. Said Aleman seems to have stayed in the match for CRC at right back. Perhaps had a little bit more success against McDonald and Ramos in arresting their progress down the line. Jaime, refed by Ramos, looking to put in a cross, fakes it once, then tries again, blocked. Erica McDonald pops the ball up all the way to the right side, met there by Taylor Thomas, just a little bit ahead of Cam Chan, out for the Vikings' third corner kick today. Again, your statistical reset at halftime was 7 shots taken by the Vikings to 1 by CRC. DVC only able to get one of those on frame, though. Karla Ramos around the half hour, putting it right off the crossbar. 3-3 your foul count. It was 2-0 on the corners. It's now 3-0. And with 3 assists already this season off of corners, here comes Erica McDonald, the in-swinger with the left boot, headed from just in front of Chan. Malera not able to keep it up there. Cleared a little bit. Jess Jaime trying to refeed it. Now cleared more decisively by Cosumnes River. And Dej Dargan back to chase it. 2 minutes gone so far in the second period. Vikings still looking for the breakthrough. Karla Ramos trying to get off to a run as Jaime looks to feed her. Poked from just in front of her by the 4 Aleman. So it does seem to be Aleman, Gomez, Azevedo, Piambo, and Taylor Thomas across the defense. I've given up on calling Azevedo a defensive midfielder. She's playing center back. A whistle from Mr. Merrifield for Erica McDonald to take about 10 yards worth of steps back. It's a holding penalty, right? At any rate, tossed into the left side of the box for Ruvalcaba, battling there with Yvonne Taylor. Popped up away from her. On the volley, Jess Jaime serves the ball back towards the half moon. Cleared from in front of Karla Ramos. Takes one big hop over Ariel Klink. Zoe Raymer will get it. She's got a player breathing down her neck. Able to get that back to Dej Dargan with a little more space just in time. Into the center for Dargan. Yet another one of these balls that is just running further than I think the Vikings are accustomed to on the artificial surface. Out to the left side now for Jaime. Finds McDonald here in the shadows of the press box. Forward for Karla Ramos. Ramos trying to get herself turned around the 14. Gomez touched away from just in front of McDonald by Aleman. Another throw-in to come, this one from about 10 yards shy of the byline. McDonald with the toss, bypasses Ruvalcaba, ends up in the chest of Yvonne Taylor. She touches it back out, though, in front of pressure from Vane. So we said there's a 5-woman defense at the moment. Your midfield back there penned in right now consists of Riso, Story, and Yvonne Taylor, Patricia Gomez, and Klink, the forward lines. Ruvalcaba fielding a ball, drops it back to McDonald. Her cross, though, ends up slicing pretty badly on her, and it's out the back for another goal kick. So we tried to take a look around the Big 8. No such luck so far. No scores posted. As we said, getting started right around the time we did. Folsom Lake, Santa Rosa up in Folsom. In Stockton, Delta are hosting Modesto. That match kicked off about 30 minutes after us, so it's probably nearing halftime right about now. Later on tonight, Sac City will be hosting American River College in a battle between the bottom two teams in the table as the ball's touched away from just in front of Lizzie Chavez. ARC won that encounter 4-1 the first time around. Modesto were obliterated by Delta when those two teams met up before. 6-1 was the result of that match when it was held earlier this season. Here's a ball ping-ponging near the penalty dot as Cosumnes River tried to clear it, banked off of a Vikings player. Didn't quite sit for Karla Ramos and cleared away now by CRC. Dargan under pressure from Gomez. Drops it back to Jaime. She'll leave that for Katie Mack. And now she'll try to change the point of attack. DVC looking to build with some calm. Finds Cam Chan over there at the far sideline. Cam trying to work a 1-2 with Lizzie Chavez, and now it's played forward looking for Tasha Stridiron. Her opposing 21 is going to get there just a little ahead of her. Clearance, though, stays in play. Raymer, forward, held in play for a moment by Chan. Tries to dribble that through the arrival of a CRC player. Now forward looking for Chavez, intercepted by Thomas, and she manages to deflect it off of the Viking player. And a throw-in to come. So that goal we were hoping for in the opening 5 minutes hasn't come to pass just yet. So elsewhere, games of interest, and we're going to start to widen our scope a little bit as the season continues. A foul committed by a Vikings player, I think Stridiron, trying to battle for that one. Fourth whistled against the Vikings. We're going to open up our view a little bit away from just the Big 8 because the NorCal playoffs are now starting to be almost within sight. We're a little over a month away from opening weekend of those. Seems very likely to be held, at least one of those matches, here at Vikings Field. Zoe Raymer able to punch away the free kick as it was served in towards the top of the 18-yard box. Settled there now by Lizzie Chavez at the far sideline, trying to slide a ball in for Stridiron, wrong-footed her. Stepping up is Yvonne Taylor, puts it to the left side for Thomas. Her ball forward down the left wing for Gomez is punched away by Chan, out for a throw. Some of the teams we'll be watching out for. Fresno, back on top of the NorCal PowerPoint standings, are hosting a 6-4-1 Solano today. That's going to be starting at 4:30. They've got Sequoias on the road on Friday. The first of those games, a chance for them to actually gain a little bit of ground, put a little bit of distance between them, really, and DVC as Megan Malera goes to ground under a challenge, fourth CRC foul. This will be a free kick for DVC from their defensive third. I think Megan maybe thought that call didn't come quite quickly enough. Maybe looking for a card. At any rate, free kick to come from about, let's see, quick little bit of math, 79 yards away from Elizabeth Kowalczyk's goal. Raymer on the ground towards Chan. Drop back to Zoe. So elsewhere, City College of San Francisco, currently 6th in the standings, and Las Positas, currently 9th, are facing off. Here's a ball through. Split two defenders by McDonald, looking for Ramos. Cuts the ball back onto her right. Now firing for the far post. Not quite enough venom or height on that one. It is, however, the second shot on goal of today's game. Carla's got both of them. Nice to at least see the first shot of the second half end up on the frame this time. Long drive from Kowalczyk. After putting the ball on the ground, met by Jaime, she'll play that out. CRC get an opportunity to throw in from the attacking third. That CCSF LPC game also is going to be pretty important to us for our own PowerPoints. That win on the road against Las Positas, among the more valuable things DVC have done all season to their playoff aspirations, winning on the road against a team that hasn't lost since. Here's a shot from distance from Ariel Klink, and that is just barely high on CRC's second shot of the game. That one coming from about 20 yards away. a bounding ball, not a particularly dangerous-looking action leading to that, but Klink with 6 goals this season, popping up and looking for number 7. And to say that a ball sneaking under Katie McLaughlin's crossbar would have been against the run of play is frankly understating it. Erica McDonald playing a ball off of the pressure coming up from Andrea Story, out for a Viking throw near midfield. With the near sideline, left side of the Vikings attack, Jaime for McDonald tries to flick this one forward, knocked down by Taylor and judged to have been a handball. Thought she might have gotten that off of her thighs and then had it pop up to her hands, but my opinion doesn't count, and I like his idea better. Free kick to come from 30 yards away, pushed out towards the left side, Ruvalcaba on it. Malera walking away, 4 in the wall for CRC, now 3. Here comes Malera Ruvalcaba looking for service. Ball pops loose, Megan trying to beat the keeper to it, and banks it off of Elizabeth Kowalczyk. Big save for the 0-0 in neon yellow. The initial ball in by Ruvalcaba was panic-inducing, and it took a deflection off of a CRC player, drifted out on the left side. McDonald trying to put a ball in. That's going to go over the back line for a goal kick. Big chance, though, in minute number 55. Well, we'll return to talking about good teams, because it seems to be, at the very least, creating some action here, insofar as I have any control of what's happening on the field. Kowalczyk to bomb the goal kick deep just over the head of Ruvalcaba. Controlled in the center circle by Story, and now she loops a ball over the left, looking for Ariel Klink. Knocked down by Dargan. Raymer does well to body off the center forward for CRC. Jaime got a little bit stretched trying to control the ball and feed it forward for McDonald. Intercepted for a moment by Aleman, and last touched by McDonald as Story tried to control. Or excuse me, that might be Amanda no, that is 16. That's Story. Aleman to put this ball in. Trapped between Gomez and Jaime. Gomez tries to dance around Jaime and can't. Ball out the sideline for a Viking throw. Elsewhere, Evergreen Valley, number 8 right now in the standings. They are playing against 6-3-1 Cañada. We're going to be keeping an eye on some of the teams in that general area, because the first major goal of the season for DVC is to clinch themselves a home playoff game. Haven't had one since 2011. It's been a goal the last few seasons. They managed just to nudge their way into the playoffs in 2014 and found themselves at the back of a very, very crowded piece of the standings between number 8 and number 12 last year. This year they remain at number 2 in the PowerPoint standings, number 3 still in the poll as the ball goes out on the near sideline for a Viking throw. In very good position to start counting down the teams that are still mathematically capable of catching them. It's going to get a little easier to do over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Ball rattling around in the three-quarter zone. Up steps Yvonne Taylor in front of Malera. Punches that one away. Knocked down by Cam Chan. Controls under pressure from Taylor Thomas. Her ball to the right side, though, intercepted. And here comes CRC with a head of steam. 3-on-5. Now, knocking things back a little bit is Talia Piombo. The flag had gone up, I think, for the ball being out of play. The referee never stopped play. Now played down the right flank. It's going to go out with the crown, but throw in for CRC from a lot further back. Taylor Thomas throws this one into the center of the defense, and the ball forward is intercepted by Karla Ramos about 25 yards from goal. Leaves it for McDonald. Her ball in, takes a deflection, and that'll carry kindly to Kowalczyk. 33 minutes left in our encounter today. Still 0-0. Vikings with all 3 shots on goal, all 3 corner kicks. Kowalczyk puts it on the ground. Here comes pressure from Ramos. Ball driven deep, knocked down by the body of Patricia Gomez. Off of her teammate and out for a throw-in. Last of those teams in the top 10 right now is Hartnell. They are at 2-9-1 Chabot, starting at 4 p.m. today. Not likely to do a whole lot for them in trying to gain ground, although their average is right at about 2.0. It's still going to cost them, just like when the Vikings play Sacramento City, which is coming up in about a week and a half. They will be idle Friday. Ball in possession of the Vikings in the midfield. Dej Dargan, forward for Malera. Megan. Over to the right side now for Chan, looking to find the triangle with Ale Gonzalez, who has entered the match in the meanwhile. Noel Lemus also inserted recently. Must have been talking about playoff teams and forgot to note the substitution. Ruvalcaba dribbling through 3 defenders. The 4th one is Taylor Gomez, and she steps up to punch it away. Jess Jaime Rolling a ball forward for McDonald. Neat little ball with the outside of her boot to find Ruvalcaba, but it had so much English on it that it bounced sideways away from Vane. No worries. She intercepts a ball from Yvonne Taylor, drops it back to Malera, and now we're on the right side of the midfield with Cam Chan. Cam creeping forward, 40 yards from goal. Now puts a ball forward looking for Lemus. Piombo got a touch to it. It's going to drift out on the left side. Thomas able to hold the ball in play. Raymer comes over and keeps that in DVC's possession. Dej. Jess Jaime now, midfield stripe. Working forward on the left side. Jaime, long ball looking for Karla Ramos. Popped up by Azevedo. Ramos is going to beat Taylor to it, though. Ramos trying to dribble that through the next defender, Raquel Riso. She does. And now up steps Taylor to put that ball away. So for the Vikings right now, still the same defensive line that we've been seeing this whole time, but it's now seems to be Ale and Erica McDonald bracketing Lemus up top. Ruvalcaba slotting back into the midfield with Malera. Chan and McDonald on either side there. Ale Gonzalez, neat little shifty running. She's going to take a drive from distance, unfortunately, right at the keeper. 10th Viking shot, 4th on goal, but neat little hip fake. Opened up some space for her to take a rip with her right boot from the top right corner. Kowalczyk puts her boot through it. Met strong with the head of Jessica Jaime. Just a little bit too hard for Ruvalcaba. She steps up, though, to try to take a ball away from Gomez. Pokes it away. Drifts to Taylor, who tries to put a ball down the right flank for Gomez. No problem for Dargan to get to that. Malera in the defensive three-quarter zone. Puts a ball over to the left side. Look out, Taylor Thomas has taken the ball away, and she's got a chance to spring an attack here on the counter for CRC. Her cross is blocked by Raymer. Now Jaime crossing all the way over from the left side as the Vikings stack midfielders into the defensive zone. Ball into the center, cleared by the Vikings. Malera doing well, and now the Vikings might have some numbers. Here comes Erica McDonald just across the midfield stripe, hoofing a ball deep down the right side, trying to find Malera. Not quite hard enough, and Piombo gets the head to it. Ruvalcaba on it now, trying to split a pair of defenders to find McDonald. The clearance buckles oddly. It's going to be settled here in the middle by Lemus. Lemus in a crowd, finally cleared away by CRC. Comes right back to Ruvalcaba, touches it through Taylor, trying to work her way through two more defenders. Nutmegs one of them. Ball still alive at her feet. Ramos comes up to try to help. Finds Ruvalcaba leaking out. Vane into the center. Karla! Just wide. Took a deflection. It's going to go out for a corner kick. The illusion was there. Terry Armstrong just beside me put his hands up. It looked for all of us like it was in the back of the net, but it's what happens when you're this far away. 5th Viking shot on goal. I think that one was headed goalward before the deflection. Ruvalcaba, who herself has 2 assists from corner kicks, will move over to the left side to put this one into the mixer. Vikings with players, 2 of them right at the goal line. 4 of them now splaying out from the penalty dot. Here comes the ball in by Vane. That is going to be flicked on off the crossbar, and it's out of play. Raymer met it at the far post. 6th Viking shot, but it looks like it must have hit the crossbar on its way back into play. Kowalczyk will take the goal kick. CRC exhales. They have not put a shot on goal in the first 61 minutes of this encounter. But they are right in it. Anna Otley re-entering for the Hawks. She, Taylor, and Amanda Lopez currently the midfield in behind the attacking forwards, Ariel Klink and Andrea Story. Still working that 5-woman back line is CRC. It's done well so far to neutralize the Viking attack. They've seen a little better of it in the last few moments. Cam Chan not quite able to hold a ball in play. Whistle comes, flag up on the far sideline. Throw in to come for CRC. Here comes the toss. Very short, now played in on a diagonal towards the center of the three-quarter zone. CRC handle it under some pressure, drop the ball back to Anna Otley. Forward now looking for Story to try to get turned around Jaime. She does, gets through her. Raymer meets that. Clears it off of Story, tries to head the ball forward, now headed back in for Story. Out comes McLaughlin and claims it from in front of the sophomore midfielder and from her teammate Dej Dargan. Jaime at the near sideline, forward and toward the center for Ruvalcaba, now into the circle for Malera. Gonzalez shows a bit too much of that to Thomas, but slides and keeps the ball in her own possession. Now has to dribble in retro to deal with the arrival of Yvonne Taylor. Into the center circle for Malera. Trying to go down the left wing. Doesn't quite manage to split the two defenders. Aleman gets to it first. Her clearance is to Jess Jaime at the center line. Jaime over the left side. That ball curls and stays in play. It's going to give Karla Ramos a chance to make Taylor Gomez's life miserable. Gomez resists that and just plays it out for a Viking throw. So we'll take a look around the horn in just a moment. No one in action today in DVC sports besides women's soccer, but water polo and volleyball get going on Wednesday, so we'll tell you a little bit about them in just a moment. Ball out off the foot of Aleman for another Viking throw-in. Looks like Ramos will take this and allow McDonald to work her way into the box. Lemus there. Rubalcaba entering now from the top left. This throw in the direction of Lemus, headed away. It's going to come toward Vane. She lets that roll. Malera, maybe a little surprised by that for a moment, able to get back and recover it. Just in front of the center circle, puts it to the right side for Raymer. Forward looking for Ale. The touch from Taylor Thomas, however, punches the ball longer. Yvonne Taylor balloons that one. Ball forward here for DVC. Pressure coming from Ramos and Lemus trying to take the ball away. Swing and a miss by a CRC player, and McDonald is going to get into a race with Taylor Gomez. She wins that race, working her way up the left sideline. Gomez, forward. Jess Jaime, no problem. Rubalcaba now dropped back to Emac. Going over the left side, met by Lauren Azevedo. Cleared deep, met with the head of Jess Jaime. It takes a deflection off a CRC player and is settled by Amanda Lopez. McDonald able to get to it now and drops it back to Dargan. 25 minutes left to go. Malera, forward for Lemus, battling against the pressure of Azevedo along with that of Taylor. Ball pops loose for Ale Gonzalez just behind Taylor. Ale trying to split two defenders to find Ramos. Cleared from in front of her by Taylor Thomas. And cleared more decisively by Azevedo. Raymer meets it with the head. Forward now for Ale. Ale, high boot trying to get to that, and she hits the deck under the pressure of Yvonne Taylor. Thomas on it. Drops it back to Otley. Now back to Thomas again. Tries to play it up the sideline. No deflection from Cam Chan as she applied pressure. Throw in for the Vikes. After just one shot on goal in the opening 45 minutes, 5 so far for DVC in the first 21 minutes of the second half. They've yet to find pay dirt just yet. Or pay rubber shavings, whatever is underneath the AstroTurf. Rubalcaba trying a sombrero to work her way around Story. She does. Cleared from off of Rubalcaba. Bounces back into the attacking zone. Clearance from Gomez. Banks off of Ramos. And now on the third bite at the apple, CRC able to get the ball out of there. Story battling with Jaime. Jessica trying to get her body in front. Story wins the ball. Forward for Klink. Tries to heel flick that to an overlapping Andrea Story. And Jaime is wise to it. Malera receives from Dargan, now working toward the center circle, trying to find Ale Gonzalez, met from behind by the 21 Piombo, creeping way up from center back. Ariel Klink trying to escape after receiving the ball from Piombo. Nothing doing. Up steps Cam Chan to take a ball away as it was sprayed down the left wing for Cosumnes River. Malera, McDonald trying to touch it around Aleman, but got a bit too much of it, and it's out for another throw-in. We're nearly at the halfway point of half number 2, 0-0 on the scoreboard. Looks like Chloe Lindemann looking to re-enter the encounter as the Vikings have had a bit of difficulty holding the ball in the midfield. Now they're back in control. Vanessa Rubalcaba inside the center circle, going route 1, trying to find Karla Ramos, cleared by Azevedo, and that ball way over the top, over Klink, over Dargan, and she, on a couple of hops, gets to that and gives it to Katie Mack. Good pressure there from Andrea Story, forced a very hard ball towards Jaime, and as she went back to retrieve it, forced to hoof it deep and out of play. Aleman to take it. Her throw-in is right at Megan Malera, no problems there. Erica McDonald hoofing a ball towards the left side. That's going to be taken off the pitch by the crown of the field as we are exactly at the halfway point of period number 2. And Aleman not in any hurry to go get that ball. CRC pretty clearly at this point playing for a 0-0 draw, and who could blame them at this point? It'd be a pretty big result to get on the road against a team like DVC, whose winning percentage remains over .750. We were mentioning Las Positas, 9-1-1, their only loss coming to DVC. That remains a really big one for the Vikings, for Cosumnes River trying to work their way up the playoff standings. This could be a big one. Here's a bounding, spinning ball nearly claimed by Ale Gonzalez. Zoe Raymer steps up to try to take the ball away. Claimed now by Rubalcaba inside the center circle. Manages to work her way around the second player. Referee plays advantage. Vane stops. Advantage waved off. Vane trying to dribble around another player. Takes a deflection off of Lopez. Gonzalez gets there. Tries to put it over the top of the defense for Lemus. Nothing doing. Azevedo can't settle. Comes to Chan over on the right side. Chan trying to dribble through a few players. Now puts it down the right wing for Ale. Good opportunity for a cross, and Ale can't keep it in play. Goal kick to come here, and that'll open up an opportunity for a pair of Viking substitutions. We mentioned Lindemann seemed to be coming in. Haven't quite spotted who the other one might be, but Chloe gives her penny to Erica McDonald. The other substitution, I think, is Dre Weinstein. So the Vikings going back to a four-woman defense. Played this 3-4-3 formation against Sacramento City to great effect. Won that game 8-0. They've played 70 minutes worth of it here and have yet to be able to break through against CRC. Gonzalez trying to dribble her way around Taylor, looked to scoop it around her. Put it right into the path of Taylor Thomas. Ball played over the top, looking for CRC. Dre Weinstein, fresh legs into the game, going back to try to ward off Ariel Klink. Plays it off of Klink, and it'll be a goal kick. Good work by Dre on her first action in today's encounter. She's got a rather massive wrap around her left leg and takes a piece of it off right now. Perhaps explaining why she was not participating in the match on the road at Santa Rosa. Karla Ramos trying to get into spin cycle and work her way around a defender. Puts it into the center for Noel. Tries to refeed Karla up the left wing. Blocked out by a CRC player. Got one offensive player up there right now, Andrea Story. Jessica Jaime putting it down the left wing for Karla Ramos. She manages to hoof a cross into the 6-yard box, but right at Kowalczyk. Had her back to goal and was just trying to see if she could feed somebody blind. So taking a look around at Vikings athletics, let's see if any of them spur us towards victory. Jackie Ponciano, Babs volleyball team, we mentioned. They're in action tomorrow, hosting ARC, and then they'll be hosting Cosumnes River, in fact, on Friday. They got themselves a victory in the first game of their 4-game homestand, a 3-2 victory. Needed every set to get it done. Jade Lee with 17 kills, Kaylee Roquemore and Isabel Villalobos with 10 each. 12 digs for Taylor Chow. It gets them back to 500 in the conference as they press for playoff positioning. It gets them over 500 overall. They're 8-7 on the season, 4-4 inside the Big 8. So head on out tomorrow night, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. You can see them in action, or Friday for that matter. Bit of a giveaway in the back here. Andrea Story trying to work her way through Dargan, and Dage has to stand tall to keep Story from getting a chance to go one-on-one with Katie Mack. Scary moment right there. Karla Ramos dribbling from around Amanda Lopez. Forward for Gonzalez. Dre Weinstein in on a big overlap up the right wing. Receives the ball, now dribbles a bit in retro. Reestablishes her defensive position. Sprays it to the left side for Carlita. Ramos, second defender, comes up to close her down. Leaves it back for Dre, trying to serve a ball into the center. Scuffed clearance by Otley is going to drift all the way over here towards Gonzalez and Thomas. Ale gets onto it. Drops it into the center for Chloe. Back now for Dre. Forward for Megan Malera. Bodied up by Thomas. Who ends up banking it off of the CRC left back as she was about to dribble out of play. Throw in to come for DVC. Weinstein on it. Leaves it for Megan. Trying to put a ball down the right wing for Vanessa. That looks like it's going to sit nicely for her. Piombo plays it out, and it's going to be corner kick number 5. And let's see if that one's the charm, since 1 through 4 have yet to be. Taken short this time here by Rubalcaba. Ramos' ball in towards the top of the 6. It's not going to find Lemus. Out comes Kowalczyk. Long ball here from the goalkeeper, met with the foot of Zoe Raymer, pushed forward, but now settled by Yvonne Taylor. Hoofed over the heads of the defensive players. Ariel Klink is going to try to chase that down. Raymer gets to it first, played forward for Chloe Lindemann, bodies off Taylor illegally, apparently. The Vikings bench upset for what they perceived as a fair shoulder challenge. It's the 5th foul whistled against the Vikings today. 12-2 your shot count, 6-0 the shots on goal. 5-4 the foul count, 5-0 on corners, but we remain scoreless in minute number 73. Taylor needs a moment to get up, so we'll talk about a few other Vikings athletic endeavors. Water polo trying to get themselves straightened out. The men started with a 6-1 start. They're in a 2-11 run right now. They've fallen to 8-12, 2-2 in conference, and fell at an invitational to West Valley last week, 13-4. Women's water polo have been struggling a bit as well, 4-9 so far on the season, 1-4 in conference, but they'll be playing on the road at Santa Rosa in a Big 8 doubleheader. Here's hoping they have a little more success than the Vikes did. Here comes the free kick from about 35 yards out, directly over the top of Katie Mack's goal from the foot of Lauren Azevedo. DVC certainly were ready to key on her, expecting her to be playing a defensive midfield position and having to snuff out attacks right there as a substitution is made. Alaman is out, Katrina Vigna re-entering for the Hawks. It's the first real offensive action we've seen from Azevedo, though, today. Raymer putting a ball to the right side for Drea Weinstein. Trying to put the ball over here on the right side for Ale Gonzalez. Back to Dre. Dre approaching the center line. Now looks to change the point of attack all the way over to the left for Ramos. Good ball. Forward now for Rubalcaba with her back to goal. Tries to heel flick for Jessica Jaime. Can she hold it in play? Big bounding ball. The answer is unfortunately no, according to Mr. Padilla. Throw in to come from the defensive third as we approach the final quarter of an hour. If you are a water polo fanatic, just one more home date left for DVC, and that is next Wednesday, the 26th, when they will be, the women will be hosting Sacramento City, and the men will be playing an alumni game. Rubalcaba earning the Vikings a throw about 30 yards from goal. So later that week on the 28th, cross country will be back in action. They are hosting the Big 8 Conference Championships on the 28th. Karla Ramos to Malera in the center, finds Dre Weinstein. Dre, little flick to get it to Ale Gonzalez, and she looks to dribble out of pressure as CRC are packing the box. They are really parking the bus back there. 9 of their players inside the 35-yard line of the football field. Weinstein, forward for Malera. Holding the ball here about 15 yards from goal, drifting out toward the right side against Taylor Thomas, working towards the corner flag, looking to bounce it off of Thomas. She does. Corner kick DVC, 6th of the game. Only one other intercollegiate athletics program to talk of, and that is football, and the less said about their game on Friday, probably the better. We're going to move right on and take a look at their Saturday matchup with De Anza. Ramos, the corner kick, looks like she scuffed that. That's drifting towards the top of the box, met with the head of a CRC player. Dre Weinstein chasing to get there before the arrival of Story in a battle of Dre's. Jaime trying to float a ball in towards the right side of the box again, but overhits it. Out it will go for a goal kick. They did fall in their Bay 6 opener 49-7 to City College of San Francisco. Really a tough time in terms of penalties. 202 yards worth of those, and just couldn't get anything going on the ground where that attack had been serving them so well in recent games. Just 42 yards of rushing, and comparing that to the 377 that City College put up. 2 rushers, both over 130 yards. It's a rough day at the office. Throw-in taken by Cosumnes River from the midfield stripe over at the far sideline, claimed by Raymer. Now back to Dej Dargan. It's just been a tough day today. The Vikings have never quite gotten their heads right. Forced to play on a foreign field on a day when they were supposed to be returning home. Karla Ramos, under pressure from Amanda Lopez, is going to give away a CRC throw-in. And she takes the ball as if she's going to take the throw-in herself, but you can see from up here, Mr. Padilla was right. She had the last touch to it. At any rate, as we said, football's next 2 dates are on the road as a ball is hoofed in by Anna Otley, looking for Story on the left center side of the box. No problem for Katie Mack. She gives it to Dej. Dargan, a little bit of pressure coming. Drops it back for Jess Jaime, and just a total unforced error. The focus just not there right now for the Vikings. So we're saying a pair of road dates for Coach Darr's men next Saturday, or this coming Saturday against De Anza. They'll be at Santa Rosa the Saturday after that. Friday, November 4th, is sophomore day up here against Contra Costa before they finish the season at San Mateo. Very different kind of schedule from what our Vikings are dealing with at the moment. After this game, DVC, or actually I should say after their road game against Folsom Lake on Friday, the soccer Vikings will be playing 4 of their last 5 at home. Meanwhile, football is going to be on the road for 3 of their last 4. Chloe Lindemann, Noelle Lemus, and Gonzalez trying to author a little bit of a counterattack and get out of this side of the field. Lemus, though, sneaks the ball under the feet of Lindemann. It's out on the far sideline for another throw. Taylor Thomas takes that quickly. And the way that CRC are playing right now is Lindemann tries to body off the arrival of Yvonne Taylor, out for another throw. You wonder if CRC are starting to smell blood in the water and think they might be able to pull off the upset here. That would be huge for them. They're currently 7th in the power points. Big 8 with 6 of the top 8 teams within its or I should say 5 of the top 8 teams in the conference. DVC, Santa Rosa, Delta, and Folsom Lake, 2, 3, 4, and 5, respectively in NorCal. CRC at 7, Sierra at 11, Modesto 15, ARC actually just barely outside the playoff positions at the 18 seed. Story trying to flick a ball over her own head to beat Zoe Raymer. It worked for a moment. Dej Dargan clears it off of Story, claimed by Katie Mack. A little under 11 minutes for DVC to try to find a game winner. Malera to the right side for Ale Gonzalez. Ale through a few defenders to find Ruvalcaba. Vane bodying up a few defenders, now puts it to the right side for Malera. Immediate pressure there. Vikings might be better off looking for the wings at this point. 8 CRC players penned in back in the middle of the field. They do go to the wing now for Jaime. Ball in for Lemus, trying to get herself turned around. Acevedo gets it on her left, fires! Just barely wide of the far post. Beat Kowalczyk and very nearly put the Vikings on top. 13th shot, 6 of them on frame today, but yet to find the back of the net. Substitution time, Lindemann out. Looks like Tasha Stridiron back in the defense. Your formation right now for DVC, it's Weinstein, Raymer, Dargan, and Jaime across the defense. Stridiron, Malera, and Gonzalez in the midfield, and it's Ruvalcaba, Lemus, and Ramos up top. Neat little roll with the sole of her foot by Megan Malera to try to get her way through Taylor. Puts the ball down the right side, reflected by Taylor Thomas. Trying to hold it there is Ariel Klink, not able to, and Malera is going to come away with the ball. Megan hoofing in across towards the top of the 18, trying to get coordinated was Ruvalcaba. Nothing doing, and Ramos ends up hitting a high arcing parabola that doesn't quite have the height to get over Kowalczyk. 14 shots, 7 of them on goal. The percentage certainly better in this second half. The Vikings have put 6 of their 7 efforts towards Kowalczyk's net on frame, but they have not all been of the dangerous variety. We have hit the crossbar twice. We've seen Lemus pull just wide. We saw Ruvalcaba do it twice in the early going. Green and white looking for the breakthrough. It's a throw-in going the Vikings' way as CRC apparently thought it was theirs and authored the throw-in very quickly. Up steps Weinstein, pushing it down the right side. Met with the head of Otley. Bounding about inside the center circle, and Megan Malera will claim. Gives it over to Weinstein. Back now to Raymer. Out to the left for Jessica Jaime. Puts this one over the top, trying to beat Azevedo and find Lemus. Nothing doing. Takes one big hop over Malera, and Taylor. Stridiron gets to it. Taylor's touch is going to carry it to Weinstein. Here comes a ball looking for the head of Karla Ramos inside the 18, cleared from just in front of her. Vigna puts it out the sideline, 30 yards from goal. 8 minutes to go, and we need a moment of magic. Stridiron receives a throw-in from Jess. Stridiron has it stuck in her feet against another player with a big old brace on her leg. That's Anna Otley. A lot of hardware over there. Ball coming free towards Jaime. Splits Lemus and Malera with that ball. Azevedo's header not very convincing. Gonzalez goes to ground. Nothing given by the official. Mr. Merrifield says, get on up. Put out to the left side for Klink. She's dribbling in retro under pressure from Malera. Up steps Gonzalez to try to double team her. Drop back now to Thomas. Long ball forward is trapped beautifully by the feet of Dre Weinstein, and beautifully may have been an overstatement. Looked a little awkward, but it worked. Ball now all the way over on the left side for Jess Jaime. Ramos, underneath pressure from 2 defenders, is going to lose out to Vigna and Lopez. And Vigna is going to hoof a ball deep. Nobody moving into that space for The Hawks, no problem for McLaughlin. Dargan over to the left. Ramos. Back into the center for Dej. In the center circle, DVC trying to show and give her an option. Ramos starts working her way down the left. She's going to go centrally for Ruvalcaba. A little bit of a stab step by Story. Ramos gets around a defender. Comes to Tasha Stridiron. She takes a shot. Deflects off of a player. Here comes a cross into the 18, looking for the head of Ramos. She can't quite direct it on frame. No deflections there. The CRC player that did that jab step, it's Andrea Story, coming up a little bit the worse for it. But it's the Vikings that seem to be authoring the substitution. Lizzie Chavez entering for Ale Gonzalez. Coach Plasencia also preparing one with 6 minutes and 10 seconds left. Elizabeth Kowalczyk in no hurry to take the goal kick. She's got one right over there. I don't understand how this isn't potentially time wasting at this point. There are two soccer balls sitting right over there to the left of her goal. It's the only place there are any other soccer balls, and she waits for Vigna to go chase that one. If we were in Italy, I'd say bravo, because that's what we do over there, but irritating when it's happening right here in front of you. Long ball met with the head of Dre Weinstein. Taylor tries to push it forward. Weinstein reflects. Happens just like that again. Dre trying to get to that one. Nudged from in front of her by Klink. And this ball is going to be shown by Dargan to Andrea Story. Luckily, her first touch carries it way too far for her to run onto. Jaime dropped back to McLaughlin. Zoe Raymer up the right side looking for Dre Weinstein. Dre pushing it up the right. We're at midfield. Now we are 40 yards from goal. Now we are 30. Still on the right sideline trying to put a ball forward for Lizzie Chavez. Hit it too central. And Taylor steps up to clear. It looks like one of the trainers offering a fantastic throw in order to get the ball back up to Dre Weinstein. She puts that to the feet of Tasha Stridiron. Drop back to her former Deer Valley teammate. Long ball towards the top of the 18. Takes a bounce in front of Ramos. She can't quite make contact with it. Vigna chasing that down. She'll clear. Out the sideline for another Viking throw about 35 yards from goal. Jaime over to get that. 4 minutes, 38 seconds left. Ball claimed by Karla Ramos, trying to spin and put the ball into play. The flag is up over here at this sideline to give the throw in. It had gotten out of play before Ramos met it. Throw to come from CRC. Vigna will give it to Taylor Gomez. Takes a bounce. The whistle coming for what I am not sure of, for a substitution. So I do hope Mr. Merrifield's going to stop his watch for that, because he is going to author the substitution after letting them spend 20 seconds getting ready to take the throw in. Here comes that sub. Patricia Gomez in place of the 16 Story. No, the 18 Lopez, I was right. Throw in taken back to Azevedo. Her long ball is just over the top of Stridiron, met with the foot of Klink for a moment, but it's going to come to Dargan. Forward for Jaime. 3:37 to go. Her long ball met with the foot of Otley. Malera using the body well to shield off Story. Right back to Jessica. Forward for Ramos, tries to get herself turned. Now hoofs the ball down into the left wing, looking for Ruvalcaba. Gomez pops the ball up with her head. Bit of a risky move, and she's given away to Ruvalcaba at the left wing. Ruvalcaba trying to dribble through a defender. Comes to Karla, cleared from in front of her. Right back to Ruvalcaba after a deflection from a CRC player. Still Vane. 4 CRC players around her. Ugh, Jessica Jaime slices the cross, and it's straight out the back for a goal kick. So we talked a little bit about this round robin between Santa Rosa, Cosumnes River, DVC, and Folsom Lake, and the Santa Rosa loss expected. Not expected, but not a total surprise, I should say. CRC beating Folsom Lake, a nice little surprise. This was not in the script for DVC if this match finishes 0-0 in 2.5 minutes. Ball cleared out towards the left sideline. Ariel Klink gets there before it goes out of play. It's going to force Katie McLaughlin to go over and chase it. Ball pushed forward for Dej Dargan. A win the Vikings need to keep themselves in realistic contention for this Big 8 title. They would be rooting for Folsom Lake, which they are already, and then really rooting for Modesto to beat San Joaquin Delta. The ball in possession of the Vikings. Stridiron's going to drop it back towards Jaime. Jessica, 40 yards from goal, trying to loop a ball in towards the 18, knocked down in front of Lemus, and cleared out just ahead of the corner flag. The scoreboard clock has stopped on 2 minutes. 0-0, a result that DVC really can't afford in their pursuit of a Big 8 title. Here comes the throw in for Lemus. Knocks it down with the body. Dribbles through a defender. Trying to get set up for a cross. Can't. But it's going to come as far as Stridiron. Her ball for Ramos runs a little too far. Karla trying to stay on it. Enters the box from the left side. Karla tried to drop it into space for Lemus. Still stuck in the legs of a few CRC players and now finally decisively cleared. Jaime comes back to it. Jessica taking a shot from distance. Oh my goodness. She nearly scored from 35 yards. It's a foot high. Jessica Jaime hoofing a ball that almost dropped, and now Katrina Vigna on the ground for Cosumnes River. The Vikings creep forward, but here in minute 88, maybe even 89, Jessica Jaime nearly beating Kowalczyk from 35 yards out. You cannot say that if the Vikings find a goal here, they would not deserve the result. I remind you of your stat count. 16-2. On shots. 7-0 shots on goal. A pretty even 5-4 foul count. 6-0 on corners. But the resolute Cosumnes River defense have kept DVC from finding the breakthrough. That'll be met with the chest of Dre Weinstein, pushing immediately forward to find Noelle Lemus. Lemus looks like she's going to get there in front of a couple of defenders. Noelle putting a cross into the 18. That's going to find Tasha at the top of the 18. A ton of defenders there. Drop back for Weinstein. She fires, and it's right into the gut of the CRC keeper. Tasha had the kind of leg where she might have been able to score from there, but there were 3 Cosumnes River defenders running right up the gut at her. They've devoted themselves to a single-minded strategy today, and it seems to be at most a minute away from paying off. Karla Ramos trying to dribble her way through Amanda Lopez. Not quite able to beat her, but she does keep possession of the ball and is now dribbling into the center circle, leaving a ball forward for Lizzie Chavez, but it's a hospital ball cleared by CRC. McLaughlin drifting back into her own box to grab it. Pushes it forward for Weinstein. Mr. Merrifield checks his watch. Hasn't done anything yet. Ball forward by Dre over the foot of Stridiron. Cleared again by CRC. Raymer plays it into the center. Klink is on it. Working her way forward 35 yards from goal. Klink reflected by Raymer. It's going to come to Yvonne Taylor and now pushed forward by Malera. Do the Vikings have enough time to author one more attack? Stridiron pushes the ball away from a CRC player, but not from all 4 of them that are in that quadrant of the field. Vanessa inside the center circle. Whistle yet to go to the mouth of Mr. Merrifield. Looks at his watch one more time. Cleared again by CRC. McLaughlin will grab that with her hands and punt it deep. He continues to look at his watch and now signals 1 minute. 60 seconds for the Vikings to do something about this result. Rubalcaba looking to dribble her way through a few players. Gets through 2 of them now, and now tries to swing a ball forward. Blocked by Otley. Puts it into the center for Malera, who's got a little more space. Megan over the top, looking for the chest of Lemus. Noelle! Karla! Goal! Goal!
Just so frustrated because they parked the bus, so I was just so mad that they did that. And I think I just after Noelle did that, I just followed up. I was trying to make sure that the ball went in, like, by any means necessary. It was I think that was like right towards the end of the game.
Very last touch.
So I think it was super hot that day, and we were just exhausted. We were on the turf, so it was just one of those days where we just needed a goal real bad. So.
Oh my heaven, did we need that? In minute number 91, 92, 90-something plus, the Vikings conjure up the spirit of 2015 and score at the final whistle. There it is, a DVC victory at the death. And I'm going to need at least 2 hours to sum up what I just saw here. So I'm going to send it back to the studio for analysis. Scores from around the Big 8, and of course highlights. And there's one big one on the 9th shot on frame. DVC finally break through, and it's a DVC victory. Vikings 1, Hawks 0. Thanks for tuning in to Vikings Soccer Rewind, everybody. Next Friday, we're checking back in with the 2015 club, who are also coming off a loss to Santa Rosa, and also have Cosumnes River in front of them. The similarities to today's game, though, end right there, and we'll take a break from all the drama and just watch a whole bunch of Viking goal scoring. We'll also visit at halftime with forwards Hannah Kidson and Hannah Lewis, along with special guest Vikings head coach Cailin Mullins. Until then, this is Joe Hickey, wishing you sweet, nostalgic dreams of green. See you next time.